Hello everybody and welcome back to another video and yeah, another one from the New Blood Championship, the ongoing tournament in our Fury of Dracula Digital Edition Discord community. This one in particular trying to encourage as many newcomers to the community as possible, and all these sort of commentaries, either as a live stream or post-game analysis, is trying to focus around sort of broader strategy tips rather than the really nitty gritty technical details that we get into when it's like the really high level world championship matches. So this is a post game analysis. As you can kind of see, I've got YouTube loaded up already. This is going to be a match between Snuffaluffagus playing as the Hunters and Topher playing as Dracula. But we have a very special guest. I won't be doing this analysis alone because I actually have Snuffaluffagus on the line with me. Hello, hello.
Hi there. It's good to be on with you, Scott Sword.
Obviously, for just so I still get too tired, I'm not going to keep pronouncing your name fully like that.
Snuff is fine.
Snuff is fine. Cool. Okay. So firstly, thank you very much for providing these recordings. I know it was all. I don't know who prompted it, but it was all very spontaneous. I just suddenly saw a message from you saying, "Oh, I've recorded the matches." So thank you for that. First of all.
Yeah, no problem. I downloaded this game maybe a month ago, and the timing just happened to be perfect for this tournament. And when I noticed that these games were recorded, often live streamed or commentated after the fact, I just kind of tried to figure out OBS myself and was able to uh, finagle how to record it with mixed success, I would say. Certainly on this first video.
Well, that's okay. That's yeah. No, OBS can be a little. I mean, I'm having OBS problems at the moment too. So I mean, don't worry about that. OBS, once you got all set up, it normally works fine. But if you've got a problem with it, it doesn't. It doesn't do very well at telling you what's wrong. So no problem with that. We can easily talk about that afterwards. But no, well, yeah. Welcome to the community then, if that's the case, and welcome to the channel, of course. And just yeah, thank you very much for participating in the tournament and having faith in us, especially since I don't know, did you know that there was a community here beforehand? Were you like really into Fury of Dracula? What was you can have a little 5-minute window to yourself. You can talk about whatever you like. How'd you get into all this?
I've liked board games, Euro style board games for quite some time, and between Christmas and New Year's, I finally had some free time. So I was playing some, Catan on my phone, just messing around, and I don't know, maybe something like trick the YouTube algorithm to like bring up the Will Wheaton Fury of Dracula video, which I had watched before, but it kind of reminded me of it. I was like, maybe I'll see if there's a digital version of this game, because I had played Fury maybe once 6, 7, 8 years ago with friends, and I'd seen the Will Wheaton video back then years ago, and I was like, that was a good one. And sure enough, I found there was a digital game, downloaded it, was messing around, quickly found that the AI is not all that fun to play against, so I just made a multiplayer game, just said, join, play me, waited around for a while, and Weircat from the Discord hopped in and played me. Yeah. I'm sorry, Warcraft, not Weircat. Warcraft. Yeah, hopped in, played me. We had a good game, and he kind of advised me to join the Discord, and so I did, and was encouraged to hop on this tournament, and just like I said, the timing worked out perfectly, and yeah, I'm very excited to participate.
Wow, that's serendipity in its finest, right? Well, thank you to Warcraft then for catching you and telling about the Discord. Because often, yeah, if people who maybe find this video, if you just try to find a spontaneous multiplayer game, it's never going to happen. You could be waiting there for years trying to find a game. So yeah, the Discord's the place for it. But yeah, it can be a bit hard to find. Obviously, yeah, I put the link in all my videos, but obviously I'm a very small YouTuber, so yeah, the algorithm won't be very kind to me in terms of like promoting my videos. So. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, well, I was the same. I discovered this game because of tabletop as well, and then bought the physical board game. That was out of print at the time, and then that was when 4th edition came out, and I snapped it up as soon as I could. Played it once with my friends. They thought it was fucking dreadful and hated every second of it. Just because it's like it took all afternoon. It wasn't sort of the thing that they were used to. They were used to sort of dedicating, like an hour or two to a game, not 4 or 5 hours. and then yeah, just put it on the shelf and thought I'm never going to play that again. Then suddenly, 2 years ago, discovered it randomly because YouTube. I was just watching all the Fury of Dracula stuff I could on YouTube, people playing it in real life, and then Quincy Morris's YouTube channel just randomly popped up, and then here I am. So yeah, funny how it all works out. Anyway, so we're going to watch this, and it's really cool because obviously you're on the line here, so we've muted the audio because there were some audio issues, but that's fine. That's why we're doing this. It's absolutely fine. So that means then it's actually really cool. You can then explain to me, your thought process. If you've got questions, you can ask me. We can have a bit of back and forth about it. So I think it's going to be really neat. Is this your first game?
This is my second tournament game, and it's actually kind of interesting. I mean, because the trajectory of the game, at least in the initial stages, is actually kind of similar to my first game, which was against Wormtalon. So the not to spoil the beginning, but the start is the starting location for Dracula is similar. So it's interesting to see how what was similar about this game and different.
Okay, I might have watched that game. The problem is that there've been so many games now, I don't even remember anymore. It's only been a week and a half into the tournament. I don't remember anymore. But I've actually been deliberately not looking at any of the, because all the players, in case people don't know, all the players have to fill in a Google form after each game to tell me the result and everything. I haven't processed any of the results recently because I want the result of this match, and we might also do analysis of another one as well. I want it to be a surprise. So I don't know who's going to win. So I've got no idea. So it'll be cool. All right. Well, we'll get into it, and then we can just stop and we can pause it if we want, or we just keep it running at all the various points. There's no such thing as a stupid question, by the way. So if there's something that I say and you're like, what's that supposed to mean, or whatever, then just feel free just to be like, wait, slow down, or we can talk about whatever you want, basically.
Great.
Okay. So let me know if Discord doesn't behave itself and you can't see what I'm streaming, obviously.
Nope. Looks great.
Sweet. Okay. So you're going hunters here. So immediately, I'm thinking, slightly newer player. That's quite a learning curve to try and, especially in a 1v1 situation, to control all 4 hunters. How do you feel about that task?
I think initially I wanted to play Dracula, but I've kind of soaked up a lot of your videos and a lot of the other your colleagues' videos, and I feel like I'm getting more comfortable with the hunters at this point. So I think at this point I probably like it better. And because I've soaked up all the videos, there's more content on how to play hunters than Dracula for understandable reasons. There's more to learn with hunters. So I feel like I've almost become more comfortable with them.
But yeah, that's something I want to fix. I want to do. I released a video about, I don't even know now, but about 6-7 months ago, going through sort of key hunter strategy, and I was meaning to do one with Dracula too, with like a proper PowerPoint and stuff. I just ran out of time, but I was thinking maybe over the next few days I might release like sort of a shorter video to sort of highlight sort of the key things for Dracula, and then come back to it later. Because because still, even as newer Dracula players, I see things, I'm like, okay, we could do this slightly differently. That's cool. You're doing, I think you're taking my setup. So you're happy watching my videos then?
Yeah, I'm persuaded that that's probably generally the optimal way to go. I think the benefit of being able to swap between Mina and Godalming is more beneficial than the benefit you would get from splitting them up or putting them elsewhere. So.
Yeah. Okay, Rufus.
This early Rufus is nice.
Yeah, I think it's a bit awkward because you could search with it, but you don't have a surprising return, and you don't know. You only got one space to try and get on the trail, so it's very difficult. So I think just allying him just makes perfect sense here. Yeah, that seems fairly. Oh, nice. Okay. So you're all following, meta stuff, supply in the day, tickets at night. That's decent. I do always wonder, because that is, especially when you buy the physical board game, because when it gives you advice how to play hunters, it says you should move around. So I wonder how, how weird it must be for newer players especially after watching the tabletop version with Will Wheaton, right, where they were night supplying and goodness what else. How strange it must be suddenly to be like, no, you have to stay still and you supply, and then you do these tickets at night, but you keep the bad ones and you throw the good ones away. How was that in terms of like having to grasp that sort of initially? Do you require much convincing on that?
Well, I want to say the not moving, I think I might have intuited maybe even before seeing the videos because it felt odd, right? Because I have absolutely no idea if I don't know where Dracula is. I have absolutely no idea if I'm moving towards him or away from him. So that actually was kind of intuitive. But the not night supplying makes sense in retrospect, but I don't think I intuited that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Okay, yeah, you're in a really bit of an awkward spot here because you suddenly get Jonathan Harker, who's very useful if you don't get newspapers, but you decide to keep Rufus, and that I understand. You can think about it in two different ways here. Okay, that's a valid search location too, because that used to be quite an old school start where a lot of people would start in Valona, but then it just got checked so often. As a community, we don't really start in Athens anymore. But then again, if newer players come along, then they don't know that, then they might start in Athens and Valona and stuff. So that's I think that's a fine check.
What do you think the most common like early checks are nowadays?
I would definitely say Southern Italy, because one weakness of this start that we've employed, or I'll say the starting positions of the hunters that I use, Southern Italy is a weakness because it's not easy to get. If you start in Munich, you're actually one space closer. Even though you are on a rail line, you need chartered carriage and stuff to make it work. So I'd say Southern Italy is a threat. The East is still pretty strong because Mina isn't the best fighting hunter.
Oh, close your eyes here if you don't want to have the first game spoiled.
I said
But
you're playing against Worm Talon, so I mean Worm Talon's got experience, so no shame in that one.
yeah,
And then,
the
then you
first.
did say, oh, the mind games. You're gonna type it, and you're like, maybe I won't type it.
Well, two things. First off, when I'm hunters, right, most of the time is mine, and I feel bad. Like, I don't know. I don't want to make them wait just so I can kind of like,
Type.
blather on too much.
Yeah, no, that's
But I
fine.
do. You'll see in this game, I kind of I knew I was recording it, and I was contemplating the possibility that somebody else might later on commentate it. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really contemplating that I might commentate it. So you'll see throughout, if there's a mistake I make that I know was a mistake, I will point it at, and I don't think it's if it's a mistake I don't think would reveal anything to Topher.
Mm-hmm.
I'll type it in
Yeah.
almost because I didn't want some future commentator to be like, oh, I wonder why he did that. Like, like, is there some reason? If it's just like, no, I clicked the wrong button. I don't want him to. I wanted to head off
No,
some of that kind of commentary.
yeah, that's fine, and that's the thing too. I think that's something as even as commentators as well, we have to be a little bit mindful of that. Just sometimes misclicks happen, or we can see certain information that in the heat of the moment you miss and things. So it's not you've had a bit of an unlucky situation here where you picked up Rufus really early and allied him, which makes sense. That's not a mistake. I think I would have done the same personally based upon the position you were in. And then you get Jonathan Harker and you decide to search, okay, and then you get a surprise return. So it's a bit unfortunate, but I guess you could use Harker to search if you need it later on that Dracula is at sea or something, and then lands, you can do a cheeky search or something. My first advice would be to you maybe zoom out when you play. I find it really awkward to watch when it's like zoomed in, bouncing around all between the hunters. I've just gotten used to playing it on zoomed out mode, but that's fine.
Huh.
That's fine.
So if I the zoom button on the top right, you can like lock it
Yeah,
to zoomed out or zoomed in.
yeah, exactly. I only zoom in when I'm having to place a roadblock token, and I want to make damn sure that I pick the correct road or rail line. But other than that, I always play zoomed out mode. It's just I don't like the camera constantly bouncing between the different characters, and sometimes because it's not if it was a controllable camera where you could move all around the map wherever you wanted, it's fine. But it's not. It's locked on the hunter or the character of interest, and that's not particularly helpful. So I just zoom out all the time. It also means you can see the map a little bit better, so you can see connections between things.
That was just a misplay right there. I meant to swap the tickets between Mina and Godalming, and I just kind of in my mind flipped them. Because now Mina has the two tickets, and it'll be harder to swap out. But it's not a huge deal. If it's not an error, I would tell the Topher because that would give him something he wouldn't otherwise know.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, there you go. Yay! Good stuff. That's what we want to see. Yeah. So obviously the problem is playing zoomed out mode. The sometimes like when you got Mina and Godalming in the same city, the character icons are quite small. But I don't know. It feels much better to have a static board. Oh, interesting. Is this really? Ooh.
So I noticed a very similar pattern with the Wormtalon game. So I had a sense of where I had a hunch where Drac might be at this point. Obviously, like not a lock.
Well, where do you think he is then? In this one.
I was thinking Ireland because it was the exact same pattern, right? Like a move, a hide, a leave.
Mm-hmm. Especially since there's no misdirect, so couldn't go back to the previous location. Yeah.
Yep.
So I would say in that situation, if you've got a hunch like that, especially since it's Ireland and Ireland's a little bit awkward to get to and stuff, I would have just thrown out the surprising return instantly. And just search it, and it tells you then. And then if it is Ireland, you've got all of this day phase to kind of start preparing for it and working out, can I move already with Van Helsing, or do I have to wait, or do I have to move with Seward, and all that sort of stuff. You go, oh, that's very good though. Ooh, okay. That's always nice to get early. So yeah, I would play Surprise and Return there, but that's just my own personal preference.
You know, it's there's a point in this game, and I'll point it out where I intuit that I can use Surprising Return that way. At this point, I wasn't thinking about it.
That's okay. That's right. I mean, but hey, I'm telling you, you should have used it here, but you might use it later for really, a really big effect. So it's fine. It might all work out fine. I'm just thinking about, well, you got resource, especially if it's island. You want to kind of know that, because then you need to try and work out, well, am I going to be able to deal with this rumor token? Which one is it? Is it Dublin or is it Galway? Which side is it? So who's better equipped to go? Is it going to be Seward? Is it going to be Van Helsing? Do they potentially both have to start moving? Is Dracula going to be moving on to England to be with Van Helsing? But that's okay. Again, this is, there's a lot of things going on here. You're having to control 4 characters at once, plus, like, look at all this. You're having to try and think about all these trades you're having to do, who needs what events and stuff. There's a lot going on, so yeah, don't panic. It's fine. So I'm trying to think too, because Van Helsing's got a bit of an awkward ticket situation. He's got both white ones. So it means then if he is Ireland, then Van Helsing is going to be very slow to get over there. So you kind of need an extra day to know it. That's just me. But then other players might disagree. That's fine. Okay, it lands instantly. Interesting. Something that some players have done in the past is they've started in southern Italy, and then they go across the Adriatic to Verona, and they make it look like it's Ireland, but it's not Ireland.
Yeah, that would make sense too. I think that given the limited number of games I've played, I might have a little bit of recency bias. So, like my mind, like that was Wormtalon start. So I was like, my mind went there instantly. But yeah, it's totally possible that a different thing, like you said, like Italy to Greece or vice versa, would be also an option here.
Well, it could even be somewhere else. It could be some other crazy shenanigans, right, involving one C move. That's a cool thing about this. New players going to come in with very different ideas about how to play. Okay, horse on Van Helsing. A bit awkward, but at least you've got it. Oh, wow. Okay. This is good. This is very good. Oh, I'm liking this.
Let's see.
I like it quite a bit. Do you have all the white ones yet? I don't think so. I think you're missing one, maybe?
Yeah, I was happy that Helsing got the horses because I wouldn't want to have to deal with the question of whether to drop a white one or not.
Well,
And having the
that's
fast
a good point.
horses minimize the need for it.
That is a very good point, especially since he already got those 2 white ones, so him having a horse is not necessary. And he's got dogs to potentially stop a spy encounter. So yeah, actually, in this situation, it's not that bad. Okay. I mean, just free up a slot on your hand. That's decent as long as there's no hoax mature. And whoa, okay. Blimey, okay. That's the event.
So I don't really have a good read on when to use Mystic Research. Um, I guess on the one hand, if you really need something in the late game, right, you want to pull it then.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I may have other things to do in the late game, and here I can get more good hunter events early if I play it just right off the bat.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, I might pause here because something else might happen. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. I think if I was just going to teach newer players just as a very basic rule, I would say, yeah, use up those supplies sort of ASAP. Yeah, just to try and get as many good events and items as possible early on. There are some caveats to that, where obviously if you've got hunters, if you are really well stocked as it is, then you might want to hold back a little bit, and you can use them. What I often use Mystic Research for is I might play it like you've done with Van Helsing, but not use any of the supplies. But I've just got it there ready, so it's freed up a slot on Van Helsing. He's got a space for another event, but those night supplies are there ready to go. And then during the first and second week, as I'm having to deal with the trail, no doubt my hunt's going to have to deal with getting rid of stakes to deal with vampires. They might end up losing weapons because they get into a combat and they lose one, or a spy takes one away, or something like that. And then it means you can then supply on the move. You can move during the day and then you can resupply at night, rather than having to supply one day and then move the next day, kind of thing. Just improves the efficiency a little bit. But also a lot depends on how many are at the bottom. All right. In your case, you got six night supplies. So if you do 1 or 2 now, I think it's fine. As long as you remember to use them. That's the most important thing. I'd hate it to be the other way around, where you play Mystic Research and think, oh, I'll use them later when I need to, and then a hoax matures and it ruins, because obviously it cycles the whole deck again, and you lose all that information. So yeah, as a basic rule, I'd say just use them as far as you can. But obviously, if you know full well there's a hunter with 3 really good events, or 3 really good items, don't night supply with them. And you need to make sure you still prioritize, horse economy and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think my approach at this point was just to kind of use the night supply unless I had something else to do. Like if a hunter still needed to swap out a ticket, I can't remember exactly. I think I prioritized that, and otherwise night supplied immediately. But we'll see in a second.
I think a lot of it too is like, maybe if I was going to be like really, obviously we have to see how the game plays out, right? But I can't remember what event you got. I think you got good luck. So the event wasn't very worthwhile, but you got a knife on Mina. So even if it was maybe wrong to supply with Mina, and you should have maybe tried to get the last white one instead, or hit, obviously Psychics can't know because it's not relevant here. But maybe it might be the wrong choice of night supply, but you got a knife, so it kind of worked out okay. So that's the thing. Sometimes when you play this game, I might sit here and say in my head, no, I wouldn't make that move. I wouldn't supply here. I would do it differently. But it works out okay anyway, because the deck is such that you get the item you want. You get the event that you want. So I think, honestly, everyone's going to do it slightly different ways. So I wouldn't panic too much about it. I just play, especially when I play Hunters, I play try and play the most efficient game possible, and just try to make sure I don't, if I can do it, like I can supply on the move type thing, rather than having to stop and then supply and then move again. It just makes it better. But again, that takes a lot of just getting used to. You have to get into that flow with playing with the hunters. You need to get into that rhythm. So yeah, I think you just night supplying is fine. It's no problem. Definitely, yeah. 2 new vigors. You've got a lot of potential here. Even if you do have to give up these 7 points from the vampire. I'd be very happy with that as a hunter. If you get 2 new vigors out early, that's decent. That's the dream.
Yeah, in the worm-tailing game, I had a renewed vigor that I used too early, and I didn't really understand the double move potential.
Yeah.
So I think I play it more. I mean, I definitely play it more effectively in this game. I don't know if I played it optimally, but it's obviously you're going to do better if you know that you can have that interaction.
Yeah.
Versus when you don't. So I could have in the Wormtown game. There's a time I probably could have caught Dracula, but I didn't because I didn't do the double move. So
okay. Yeah, I'd
so
say.
while I have,
Okay.
sorry, go ahead.
No, on you go.
I was gonna say so while I have soaked up all like your main like teaching videos, I'm usually listening to them while I'm doing other stuff, so I may not recall all of the different guidance, and I did not. I'm sure I had heard the renewed vigor advice, but didn't recall it in the Wormtailing game. I definitely did recall it in this one.
That's okay, no problem.
So,
And I think also too, like a lot of the time too, you have to learn by doing as well. It's okay, you can soak up the information, but you need to actually then you need to apply it, and you have to get used to it. And the problem is, whenever I do any of those videos, I'll quickly talk here before you do your scouts, just in case, because I just see where you pick. Obviously, I'm describing very much like in terms of hypotheticals, like do this, whatever, don't do this. But obviously, every game is going to be a slightly different situation. So suddenly you'll be in the heat of the moment of a game, and you're then trying to work out yourself, do I have to play this card now or not? And that can be, quite a hurdle to overcome. And you just have to learn it by doing once you get used to it. And if you see the positive results, if you see Renewed Vigor being played, and it's fruitless, you don't get anything out of it, you're like, oh right, now I've learned that's the wrong time to play it. And then hopefully another time it works, and you get a huge benefit from it. Either you kill Dracula, or you get him very weak, or whatever it is you do with it. Then that positive reinforcement. Oh right, that's the right time to play it, and you just get just by practice. So I guess here with your hide scouts, your island theory is going to be put to the test, right?
Yep, and because there's no wolf form out of the sea, I mean, I'm gonna know if it's correct or not once I search Bordeaux and Nance.
Yep. Yep. Unless he's gone into Britannica, if it went from West Island to East and then crossed over.
Oh, that's true. Yep, that could also be a possibility.
So in this situation, I would probably still throw one hide scout into Island, because if you get the landing city wrong, you still know it was definitely Island, if that makes sense. You don't want a situation where I mean, maybe you get it right and then it works out fine, but I'm just thinking, probability. If you pick, say, the 2 in France, it's actually the 2 in England, you still don't know if it's Ireland or not. I mean, it probably is, but I would probably still throw one into Ireland just in case. So at least if I don't get you don't get the landing city correct, you've got an idea. Okay, well, it doesn't matter because it works out anyway. You know it's in Nantes, so that's fine. And actually, that's pretty good for you because you've got really well equipped hunters, and Dracula's now kind of in the middle of you a little bit. So that's good. Okay, so you're not even going to go and try and deal with this vampire then? You're just going to leave it to mature?
In the Wormtailing game, I messed up the timing, and for some reason, I thought I could get to it in time, and I couldn't.
Okay.
Here, I don't think there was a way for me to get Helsing to Dublin in time, so I didn't bother. I mean, yeah, because even with renewed vigor, it'd be one move to Wales, one move into the sea and then one move to
Yeah,
Dublin.
yeah.
Even the fast horses wouldn't help there, so
And actually, it would be Galway. No, yeah, you'd be having to go to Galway because he went
right.
from North
Yep.
Atlantic to Nantes. So the vampire's actually in Galway because you can't unless he
Yeah, I
somehow
couldn't have made
hid
it.
in Dublin and put a room to on the hide, but they would never do that. So yeah, I mean, I understand it. You see my point though about earlier how I mean, maybe you use surprising return really well later, and that's fine. But you can see how maybe if you had just used surprising return as soon as Dracula had done that sea move, you'd have been able to know that it was Ireland, and then you could have decided. You could have maybe stopped it. It could have potentially been aristocratic, but you're going to give up 7 points. Hey, that's very good. But you're really equipped, and because you haven't bothered to go and chase it, all your hunters are going to be in a good position to try and catch Dracula. So again, the last white one, that's really good. Another charter carriage, that's very good, and a heavenly host. Okay, you're really well
I have
supplied
a
here.
ton of movement.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially with renewed vigor. Yeah, Dracula could be in a lot of trouble here. You got to find him, depending on where he's going next. If there's a wolf form or something, but. Okay. Yeah, very good. Hey, okay. Oh wow. Yeah, everything. Okay, no fog. That's kind of key. There's quite a lot of vampires in there to deal with. Okay. Um. Yeah, I mean, I totally get getting rid of the vampire. There's a world where maybe you'd want to get rid of bats because I can't remember if you have any forewarns or not. So maybe getting rid of bats might also be a good idea. But if you want to get rid of vampire, that's absolutely fine. Again, different players will quibble about what thing you should have discarded there. That either is good. Okay, 2 away from Nantes. Yeah, very good. Just saving them. You don't need to use them. That's all good. Okay. Nice. Just a small thing. It's nothing, extremely critical. Godalming has a yellow 2 ticket, so you could have got him all the way down to Genoa if you wanted to. Okay. Are you looking for an X to back out?
Uh, might
Oh,
have. I
maybe.
think I'm just trying to search. I think my goal here is to just find Dracula as quickly as I can before he kind of gets away from me and just lock down where he's going.
Yeah, but I would also say too,
So
you've got plenty of time. I mean, I personally would not have used a charter carriage like that. I would have held it. Also, because you're leaving Spain open, Dracula could have been really sneaky and gone non to Bordeaux. No, Bordeaux. No, that's impossible because you searched Bordeaux. Could be in Toulouse now and might be moving towards Spain now that Seward has vacated it. Now, obviously, Dracula doesn't know you have a second charter carriage. But still, I think I would have kept it. I think with Seward, does he have a horse? I can't remember. I don't think he has a horse, right? Oh, yeah, you got no
no,
horses. Okay.
I think Helsing and Godalming have horses right now. Mina and Seward do not.
Okay. Well, if you want to get Seward up there in order to trade the horse off Van Helsing or something, that could work too. Yeah, good. Yeah, I don't think I don't think you had to rush to go up to Paris. I don't think that's necessary. It's still good because yeah, Paris is quite high traffic. So knowing if Dracula went that way, you could potentially have to force him into wolf forming. But then if you leave leave Spain open, if you don't find him quickly, then he could have a lot of time in Spain and then disappear again. Okay, 3-2.
Yeah, and that's actually, it's hard to commentate this without like entirely spoiling my first game versus Wormtalon because they're so.
That's right. You can do it. It's been
It's
out.
entirely.
It's been public knowledge. It's fair game. You can spoil it if you want.
Oh yeah. But Wormtalon did a similar pattern, escape by sea. So my whole goal in this was to catch Dracula. And I have so many hunters around. It seems like a time where I could get a very early, fast multi-hunter on Dracula fight before Dracula is able to escape to sea from like Wormtalon did, which caused
Mm-hmm.
me problems in the Wormtalon game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to really quickly search all the possible Dracula locations while there's a very limited universe of where he might be, and just get a multi-hunter fight as quickly as I can. That's kind of what I'm thinking in this
Yeah.
at this point.
No, that's fair. You've got a lot of movement with the renewed vigors and charred carriages and stuff. You don't have a lot of finding Dracula events. You haven't got a hypnosis or a money trail or anything like that. This is where maybe this is where now the surprising return could be really helpful for you, because you could just search something like Toulouse, or and see, is he going to Spain, yes or no. Hasn't wolf form, so that's actually buying you quite a bit of time here. You're not under as much pressure as maybe you could have been.
I agree with that. And I think you're right. That at any point, using that surprising return could have been very helpful, both at the beginning or here.
Yeah, you can
But
you can play surprising return before you decide to renewed vigor. Oh, okay. I would do it that way round personally. I would surprising return first, and if I can find him, then you can decide, right, can I play renewed vigor here to catch him? Speedy Telegraph is also decent. It wouldn't necessarily be a bad move to play Speedy Telegraph. I think it should have been combined with Surprise Return. That's just me. Once you know where Dracula is, you can really then start going through all the calculations, being, can I catch him from this location? But you've got 2 renewed vigors, so if you use one now, it's not the end of the world. You can then follow up with a renewed vigor surprising return next turn potentially. But the fact he hasn't wolf formed, you could really punish Dracula here. Okay, that's a decent check. Nope. This is just a little tip, and this is small. It's actually quite a big thing, but maybe a lot of people don't realize it. If you had played Speedy Telegraph with the renewed vigor, you can play the 2 actions of the hunters in any configuration you want. So you're not forced to say, right, I have to do 2 actions with Godalming, and then I can do 2 actions with Seward. You could play the 8 actions in any order you want. So as a little tip, the thing I like to try and do, this is a sort of a patented thing I like to do, I'll play Speedy Telegraph on some, and then I'll pick, say, Mina to go first, because Mina hasn't got much movement, so she can't really do much. She's unlikely to jump on Dracula's location. You could supply with her, and the deck might just love you that day and give you a hired scouts.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
And because she's played first, then all the other hunters can then converge on it with the renewed vigor actions. So you could do something like this where you move once with Godalming, and then you maybe move once with, say, Seward, and then based upon that information, then the 2 of them can then both move again, potentially. Depends obviously what items they've got, and if they've got fast horses and chartered carriages and things, but that's something you can do. It's something I really like. If there's a hunter I know is not going to be involved in the combat with Dracula, just supply with them, because you might get something really good. Yeah, horse economy seems really decent. Checking Toulouse makes sense. Okay, so it did go into Spain. Interesting. Okay. So now it's probably, yeah, got to be inside Spain, Saragossa, or Barcelona. Yep, I agree with that. You don't need to kill this vampire, that's not your priority. If you can save them maybe for the fight with Dracula tomorrow, that makes most sense.
Yep.
So I mean, I see what you mean. Like, if obviously in my world you wouldn't have had surprising return because it would have been used earlier. But if you'd used it, if you'd kept it and decided, right, I'm not going to do with Ireland, I'll do it this way, that's fine. If you just gone boom with the surprising return onto Toulouse, you'd have known that, and then Godalming could have moved to Marseille and then moved with a double move to Saragossa, and then you could have potentially, I think, ended up with a 3v1 if you catch him in 48, or in Barcelona maybe a 2v1. A 3v1 at this stage, you're so well equipped, and you got planned ambushes and Lucy's revenge, so he can't escape his back. Yeah, it's almost curtains for Dracula. Even if he doesn't die in that situation, you expend a lot of resources, you've still got a second renewed vigor as a backup, and you've got maybe a couple of mystic research supplies left, and you haven't got much of a trail to deal with because he just matured a vampire, so you're in a really good position. Very good.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm hoping
nice escape.
Hoping to kill Dracula before I need to deal with this trail.
Yep. No, that is a way you can definitely do it, especially in a case like this where he's matured a vampire. You just got to be careful not to get sucked into trying to kill Dracula, and then Dracula gets away, and then you're stuck with this trail that you can't deal with.
But I think at this point now, right, if Dracula gets away, it's going to take me a little bit of time to figure out if he's going east or north.
Yep.
So in that time when I wouldn't really have anywhere else to move to, I can clear up the trail at that point. But yeah, so that was kind of my thinking, right? I'm thinking that I should be able to figure out where Dracula is in this turn, and then jump on him with multiple hunters next turn because of these rail tickets, because Helsing and Godalming have horses. So, but because I'm worried about Dracula escaping via Spain, and I really want to kill him before he leaves Spain, I'm trying to check the ports first.
Okay. Where instead of checking Saragossa.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, you still have Rufus Smith in play, so Dracula going to sea is not really that good for him. So I think in that situation, I'd actually check Saragossa first, because Saragossa gives you more options. If you go to Barcelona as Dracula, and then the hunters go into Saragossa, there's no way for you to get out, unless obviously you wolf form out. Saragossa gives you more options in terms of where to go. The one thing you're lacking is a forewarned. So if Dracula does manage to get onto a port and throw down fog, it could deny you combat. But when you did the behind the veil, there was no fog there, so you're gonna have to maybe cross your fingers that fog hasn't been drawn.
Exactly. Yep. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Because that was what happened in the Wormtown game. A fog. He played fog at the right time, but that should have been more. That was kind of a more predictable fog. But anyway, because I'd never been behind the veil at that point. So anyway, now I think I'm surrounding him here.
You wanted to play first before you do that. That's unfortunate.
Oh yeah.
So you basically lost a renewed vigor action because you did you didn't. So you could have supplied and then done vampire lair.
Yeah, you'll see. I messaged him that like that was not my finest moment.
Well, it's okay. You still use the vampire lair. You got the influence down a little bit, which is good. So yeah, I think that renewed vigor. I think it could have been a little bit more effective, but with with a little bit more, like say the planning with the surprise return and things. But that's okay. The fact you got a second one there, it means then a first renewed vigor isn't as critical. When you have only one of them, you're holding onto it like gold dust because you're like really worried about misusing it. But when you got two, it's like, okay, well, you can maybe afford to use one. Yeah, Dracula's in a bit of a sticky spot here. He's gonna have to because it wasn't Bordeaux. Yeah, Clermont-Ferrand is on the trail, and Marseille was checked. So yeah, it's definitely in Saragossa. So it's now I'm gonna have to wolf form out of this, and it's not wolf forming from Saragossa isn't really that good, or is gonna have to move into Spain. and you can pounce. So yeah, just to let you know, you can play any cards that can be played at dawn or dusk. You can play them in any order you want. So you could have said no to the Renewed Vigor, you'd play Surprising Return, and then the prompt Renewed Vigor would reappear and say, do you want to play Renewed Vigor? And then you'd be like, yes, please. So you can do it in any order. So that, again, this is hard because you've got to try and keep track of all the events that you have. But still, this is good. The Vampire Lair is decent. You got it out of the way early. If it gets into the 4th week, then Dracula has to move an extra day, assuming everything else stays the same. So, you know, just still using it is good. And you feel bad, right, if you'd supplied and got a really good event, and you might have had to throw away the Vampire Lair. That's okay. That's fine. If you had horses on Seward to be able to allow him to move into Saragossa, you still could have got a 2v1 with Van Helsing. You'd be in a really good spot. Yeah, Dracula's not wall forming. That's very surprising.
So now I'm thinking he has to either be in. I guess he could be in Madrid or Alicante, or I guess he could be in Bordeaux. No, he can't because that's a rail.
Yeah, there's no road connection. It's kind of a sneaky one. Yeah. See, I think here.
Or he could hide in.
Or could hide. True. Okay, I would play Surprising Return here because you just need to search it, and it means that you're not having to guess which one it is. You can just put all your attention into one of them. If your horse economy is good enough, then it's not really a problem. But then you maybe, if he's in Madrid, well, it doesn't matter. If you get everybody into Alicante in one move, you can then also do a supply, which is very good. So I think I'd still play Surprising Return here. But okay.
Yep. I'll tell you the point. I still haven't reached the point where I think about that possibility.
That's okay. No
it'll
problem.
be a little, it'll be a little later, and I realized that I could use Surprising Return that way.
That's okay. Okay, so you're going to catch.
No, I'm thinking. Ooh. Godalming to Alicante, and if he's not there, Godalming can move to Madrid, and that will probably get him, and I can probably get 3-on-1.
Yep. Same. The option to still play Speedy Telegraph and then supply with Mina is still on the table. So the worst case scenario here is if he's got Fog, because it means you use a Renewed Vigor, and you can't basically do anything with it. I mean, you can go and deal with the trail, but yeah, you're just really fingers crossed here that he hasn't played Fog. Ah.
Yep. Just like the Wormtown game. So I'm deeply frustrated here. And I know it's not the worst thing because I got Rufus, so it's like not as bad as it could be. But it's really frustrating because I thought I was going to get 3-on-1 here and just get a very, very quick win.
Yeah. 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 So I'd say, you know, that it all could have been achieved a turn earlier if the previous Renewed Vigor has been utilized, and you could have got him, even if you didn't kill him, you'd have got him so low that even with feeding, you know, Rufus would restrict his sea movement so much. But that's okay. That's fine. It's part of learning process. So it's no problem. I think your timing of using the Renewed Vigor, I think, was correct. So you definitely saw the right opportunity to play it. I would just say that maybe it was the actual execution that wasn't too strong, but that's okay. There's you need a lot. This is only your potentially second hunter game or third hunter game in terms of like PvP. Yeah, don't worry, it's
second tournament game. I had played some hunter games, just as I guess scrimmages or pickup games before this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It probably wouldn't be more than my like 4th or 5th.
Yeah,
PvP game.
It takes a while to get going. I had the help of Warecraft actually played 2v1 with me, so that's how I learned hunters. He basically held my hand for the first 2 or 3 games, and then I went off on my own. It's a very different way to learn. So yeah, full credit to you for. I'd say the timing was perfect. Oh wow, that's a really good card. Okay, so I mean, funny that, you know, if Mina had supplied, she would have got great strength and not a hired scout, so it didn't make a difference. But you just never know. sometimes the number of times I've done it where I've supplied and I got an ally or hired scouts to find out where Dracula is before I start charging in with renewed vigors and things. But this is cool. You can clear up this trail pretty easily. Oh wow, okay, bats. Okay, so actually, funny enough, so if you did play renewed vigor, you would have been a 2v1, not a 3v1. Oh, you shouldn't be able to supply there, but okay, that's digital being buggy. But that's fine. Because technically you were delayed, but it's fine. The interface has to reset. If you clicked a different hunter, then clicked back to Van Helsing, then it would have triggered the bats. But that's fine.
So now,
yep.
To see where he's gonna go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I hope you don't move Mina. Well, if you move her to Munich, it's okay. Start keep her on the rail line though. Yeah, so the only problem with renewed vigor, you're like, oh crap, what do I do with this second action?
I guess I'm thinking right at this point. I'm just guessing what he might do. You know, with Rufus in play, I'm thinking maybe Italy. You know, so move her a little bit closer to Italy.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see.
Yeah, no. I mean, I get that. She's got a chartered carriage, so I'd say actually still keep her on the rail line because Vienna has a rail line, whereas Munich, the rail line through Munich is not great for getting into Italy. So actually, it's just quicker if you keep her in Vienna. But I get it. You got renewed vigor, like, oh damn, I've supplied. Now what do I do?
I guess my thinking is like that he's gonna probably try to do as little movement as possible while getting maximizing how far away he can get with minimal sea spaces. So I'm thinking maybe he's gonna wolf form out of the Mediterranean into Genoa or something. So maybe move her a little closer to that.
Yeah, no, I think that's also a legitimate strategy. Yeah, you don't know it until he does it. We don't know it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I can't remember what exactly I had for Mina here. It probably was a low stakes decision here and what to do with her.
So that's actually very fortunate for Dracula because you only got behind the veil maybe 3 or 4 days ago. So suddenly to have picked up a fog in that time, that was very fortunate.
Yeah. Yep.
I think, yeah, for the second renewed vigor, I would have gone charging in there. I think you have to take the risk that he hasn't got fog. And yeah, as you said, you could have got a 3v1. So I think that was definitely the right decision to go in for it. No issue with that at all. Good. Okay. Crap event. That's not your fault. What are you gonna do? Good. I like that.
Yeah, I'm a little unsure. I'm thinking. Let's see what I do.
Oh, there's the forewarned. That's unfortunate. That's okay.
Yeah, that would have been great to have 2 days ago.
Yeah, the event deck can be a really cruel mistress sometimes. Don't worry about it. No problem. That's not your fault. Yeah, I think it's a difficult one. I think keeping him on the Mediterranean, because you're fearing the wolf form from the Mediterranean, so having him on Marseille makes sense. But also just supplying is also good. So, I think I would personally move there onto Marseille. Or maybe if you're wanting to maybe trade the horse to Seward with Van Helsing. So then Seward can charge off with Mina to deal with Dracula, then Van Helsing deals with the last encounter. That's fine too. So you want to keep him on that spot, and they can both supply a day. That's okay. I like both options. Oh, I don't know who that is. Ah, Did you mean to do that? Do you mean to do it with Godalming? It looked like you were
doubt
misclicking.
it.
It looked like you were misclicking onto Seward. Let me go back.
Yeah. I don't remember if that was a misclick or not.
Oh, it looked like it was a misclick. Ah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Because I think here in this
I'm not
situation,
sure.
Seward having
Yeah, there's
horses is
nothing.
powerful. Yeah,
There's nothing really here that I would need to trade anyway.
no. So what I would do personally, I would have traded items with Seward and give him the horse. Because Van Helsing doesn't necessarily need it if he's going to be trading around and stuff. So yeah, I would have just given him the horse. So then chases off with Mina to do psychic scans, or I know you haven't got hypnosis. You could potentially hypnosis if you pick it up. You're ready for Dracula if he lands, as a wolf form from here, or if he starts going towards Italy, you can start heading off in this direction.
Yeah. I could have been a misclick. That could have been what I wanted to do, but I really don't remember.
That's okay. Doesn't matter.
We'll see. Yeah.
Okay. More sea movements. That's really good for you.
Yep. Snowy's either in Turanian or South Atlantic.
That's right. Yep. That's fine too. He's closer to the east by doing that, but you've got a 3-2 ticket. I would have just used the rail, and you would have got to Bordeaux. Now, the reason why I'm only saying it in this particular situation is you don't know which way he's going. Is he in South Atlantic right now, or if he's in Turinian? If you're moving Godalming up to Bordeaux, and then Dracula moves an additional sea space, you could maybe, if depending if the event deck works in your favor, you might get an evil presence or local rumors to try and rule out North Atlantic. And then also you've got a hunter already on this coast, so if Dracula does go to the UK, you can start heading across already to deal with it. That's just me, but if you got another plan and you're trading things around or whatever, that's absolutely fine. Again, that's a small thing. But at times when you do movement, this is just in general, I'm not saying you specifically, but just when hunters move, you have to think about why are you moving there? What's the purpose of that move? If you believe that Dracula is going east, then moving Godalming to Toulouse is the better move. But I'd say because you don't know, you probably want to kind of split sides a little bit until you know for certain.
It's definitely what I was thinking about at this point because my initial thought was Italy, but now I'm all around Italy. So if it were me, I might at this point keep going to Greece.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, if I'm trying to get into Topher's head, I'm thinking maybe he's going to Salonika, or maybe southern Italy at this point.
Yeah,
but
it will be. Yeah.
But we'll see.
Okay, heal. That's decent. Still missing a horse, so if Seward's lucky, if he supplies tomorrow, he can get that horse then. So this is not a vampire at night. Oh, okay. Good catch.
That didn't mature.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, so this is a good situation for you. You dealt with the whole trail. So as long as you can identify really quickly, once Dracula lands, if you can identify really quickly where he is, you haven't got renewed vigor, so your movement's not going to be as quick, but you could probably still catch Dracula out here. Your horse economy is really well set up. So if you just get that third horse out of the item deck, you could charge across really quickly. Ooh.
3 sea movements.
Yeah, so it's Ionian now or North Atlantic? This is where having Godalming on Bordeaux would give you that additional, thing that could help you find out where he is sooner, if the event gets drawn. Because you feel bad if you start preparing for the east and he is actually an island again. okay, that's probably the first bad roll you've had all game. The economy's been pretty good up to this point. Oh yeah, Dracula's not layering anything, so that's actually working out quite well for you. There you go.
Yep, that's nice.
Very nice.
Now everyone's got a horse except for Mina.
Yeah. So what I would do in this situation, I would try and get Van Helsing to her to give her the horse. Her having flexible movement is really important. So that she.
That is not what I do.
That is not what you do. No.
So
That's okay.
So at this point, right, I'm thinking if it were me, I'd probably go to Salonika. So I'm getting ready to charter carriage over to Salonika.
I mean, it could well work. Yep. Yeah. It's a general thing that I like to do, and again, sometimes it doesn't work out this way, because in this case, Van Helsing got a horse, so, again, it's not your fault how the items come up, but if I have the opportunity, where you did here, because you had a little bit of free time to do things, I would have got a horse off Van Helsing and get it onto either Mina or Seward. If Van Helsing should be the one who doesn't have a horse, because he can just trade if he has to. It can be very useful. And also Mina having flexible movement, because then she can psychic scan more easily, she can hypnosis more easily. But you got a charter carriage on her, so yep, she can get to the east pretty quickly. But then the rail lines in the east are not great. So once you get into the east, then how does she move around? You need a sense of emergency to sort of back it up a little bit.
And I probably should have kept the 3-2 ticket with Godalming. It was mostly just the annoyance of having to swap out 2 when I only have 1 ticket that I want to get rid of. Realistically, it's probably better. Like it was probably because Helsing has more things to do at night than Godalming does. So I probably should have kept the 3-2 ticket with Godalming. But it's really annoying to see 2 tickets cycle through and you miss the you have to get rid of the one that you wanted and such. All right, so he's landed.
Yeah. So it's Ireland or Athens or Salonika. And again, this is where Surprising Return, I think, could have also been played. You could have just ruled out Ireland, and then you don't even have to think about it, and then you just charge east with everybody as fast as you can. In this situation, if you think if Dracula's gone east, you're going to be barreling east, and you don't actually know it. And if you get all the way over there and you discover it's Ireland, then that could well be GG.
That's in the position I'm in. I really want to barrel everyone east because that's kind of what I would do. But I check Bordeaux and Nantes here just because they are technically spaces that he could go to, even though he probably won't.
Yep.
And that sets up one of the 2 to go check Ireland.
Yep. You see how maybe two or 3 days ago you could have been in Bordeaux already.
That's definitely
instead of moving there just now. You moving to Toulouse, I understand because there's a reason why maybe that could well work. And then moving to Clermont-Ferrand didn't achieve anything.
Well, that was to deal with the trail.
Oh, that was with Van Helsing, not with Godalming. Godalming had no reason to move to Clermont-Ferrand.
That's true. Yep, that's true. All right, so he's either in Ireland or in Greece.
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, it's a real shame because you've got yellow 1 tickets. So if you use a chartered carriage, you're actually going to make your horse economy worse. You've had a couple of miss rolls in the last couple of turns. That's also another reason why I would have gone to Bordeaux with Godalming, because you would have got a yellow 2 back into the pile. And you just flood the deck with as many yellows. Even if there's still yellow 1s in the deck that you haven't been able to get out, you just put all the yellow 2s you can back in, and that'll work. Okay, still passing on surprising return. See, the issue is you don't have excellent weather, which makes the UK very difficult to deal with. So knowing the information sooner if he's gone to the UK or not would be really valuable. Because then you could also then send Mina and Seward up, into Germany to then approach Britannica from the other side.
It's it's right about here. First, I realized that I think it's probably the next day. I realized that using what's the card? Speedy Telegraph would be helpful to rule out places first, and then right after I realized that, I realized, oh, surprising return would be even better because I can get Harker, use Harker as a one-off and check a space. This is about the point at which I realize it, but I still don't actually use it. I end up, it's probably the next day maybe. So at this point, I'm going to send Van Helsing to check Ireland, while Mina checks Greece, and Seward kind of follows behind her.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing here, and I'm a little unsure of what to do with Godalming because my instinct is to start barreling him east, but I don't know enough.
Yeah.
Part of me is thinking maybe I should move him to whatever the city is in Normandy to like get ready in case he's going to the UK, but my hunch is Greece, so I ended up just kind of leaving Godalming there for this next move.
So this is a situation where, lack of information is making it much slower for you to know what you should be doing. If you could have ruled out Ireland with a surprise return, Bordeaux would have been blocked. Is Dracula really going to go to Nantes when Godalming is sitting next to him? If you're really paranoid about it, you could then check it. Is he going to be in Salonika? Oh, no.
Nope. So we're wrong about that.
50-50.
Could still be in Athens, could be in Ireland.
Indeed. So yeah, so a situation like this where you've got, a card in your hand that will basically, I know it's only one city, but you can just eliminate an entire half of the map with one search move. I recommend you have to go for it. Again, as I said, I would have used it much earlier, so I wouldn't have had the surprising return. But the fact you kept it, then it should be used in this situation.
Yeah. Yep. So at this point, I realized it. I think you saw me kind of pause on it for a second there. That's like the moment I realized I could have used that.
Yeah.
So now it's in my head, but
still, it's not the worst situation for you because if Dracula is in Athens, a wolf form doesn't really get him very far. Seward's closing in. If he moves only once to Valona, he's going to be a little bit surrounded. Ireland is a little bit more awkward, but you're going to find out tomorrow Van Helsing. And you still got time to recover because only Mina has. As long as you play Speedy Telegraph, so that Van Helsing moves here first, all the other hunters can then backtrack and get into position. And again, because Dracula is not placing any layers at all, I'm not quite sure why, but maybe he doesn't understand how they work. But because layers haven't been played, his encounter economy is nowhere near as good as it would have been. So the chances of Dracula having the second fog is now actually really unlikely. And you've got a forewarned on Seward just in case.
I almost use it here and I don't.
Yeah, I think Speedy Telegraph would have been very useful because you needed to know what Van Helsing, you need to move Van Helsing first.
Yeah, I guess I just, because at this point I was thinking about it. I'm thinking like, well, maybe there'll be a better opportunity later to use it. Like it's only going to cost me like 2 moves, but we'll see.
Yeah, I say that in this situation, surprise return is maybe not the thing. It's actually Speedy Telegraph would be more useful now that we've waited this long. Oh, here you go.
See here, I'm commenting that I realized I should have used an event card, either Speedy Telegraph or a surprising return.
Yeah. I accidentally clicked X. Okay. Okay, interesting.
So that doesn't tell Topher anything. Well, maybe it tells him a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, at that point, I had realized the possibilities of those cards.
So it's one of these really difficult things because like when I've been watching some of the earlier games, oh, that's very useful. That will tell you if it's North Atlantic or not.
And it does.
Oh, he's an island. Okay then. Okay, that was again a little bit fortunate, but sometimes the event deck it gives and it takes. Interesting.
Yep.
So that's the thing, right, with these event cards, because what I've been seeing in general from quite a lot of the Hunter players early on in this tournament, they've been playing things like Consecrated Ground and Renewed Vigor too quickly. So my advice would be you need to play it slower. But then there's also then a counter argument to that is if you wait too long, you might not ever get a good opportunity to use it again. So if you believe this is the right moment to play this card, just go for it, play it. Your instinct's probably right. Especially in this case, you're saying here that you're really hovering on it. It's like, do I play this card or not? Yeah, go with it. Your gut is correct. You need to play that card. Yeah, and your horse economy is a little bit ruined, unfortunately. I'm not quite sure how. There's just a couple of what yellow ones have got into the deck. And you got a yellow 2 out of it, so yeah. Okay. Well, at least you know now, right? You got to deal with the UK. You might well be able to trap Dracula if you're able to get across. Without excellent weather, that's a little bit difficult.
Debating whether to go to Irish and try to head off where Dracula's going or clear up the trail behind him.
Yeah.
In this moment.
That's not an easy decision. Yeah.
I think the reason I go for the trail here is because I think it's going to take a couple of turns to get Godalming and what do we call it, Seward up there anyway. So I may as well. I don't want to do a one-on-one with Helsing anyway, so I may as well do some trail clearing.
And you got the second surprise return. It's like the universe wants you to play that card.
that's yeah. 2 surprising returns, and I think I can use them to do Jonathan Harker twice, right? Because I would just discard it and play it again.
Absolutely, yeah. You can use one and then use the other one again. Yeah. And you can use the same ally. It's it's really good when you got both of them. I mean, it's always typical. You get both surprising returns and then you don't get any allies out. But you've been blessed with 2 allies early, one of which you discarded, and you got 2 surprising returns. I just imagine the event deck just starts giving you like, I've got 10 surprising returns. Why is he not playing any of these cards? That's okay. But this is actually now really good because, like, you know, you can find out for certain where he's going to land in the UK. You can hold one back if he suddenly then manages to leave the UK. So you've got quite a lot of search potential, which is nice. Okay. I mean, good to catch that because that could have caused issues depending on what else gets played in the UK. That's because of Rufus Smith. Dracula moved 3 C spaces but then fed or used feed. So then Dracula's actually lost 3 health because of that move. You know, net. He's going to have to go to
C
again.
He's going to have to lose more.
Yep. Yeah, and he's going to definitely have to land in Britannica because there's no way out because North Atlantic's on the trail. That's just a shame. You had the local rumors a couple turns too late. You had the full warn a couple turns too late. Yeah. So I mean, if Dracula stalls a little bit too much in the UK here, you can get a lot of people over. The risk is you move everybody in, and then Dracula manages to escape by North Sea or English Channel, and then you're all stuck there and you can't get off again. Sea movement's very slow. It's the one time where Dracula and Hunters move at the same speed. I'd say, yeah, even potentially moving in advance to Le Havre, the one that's on the Normandy coast. I don't know if Le Havre is Normandy or whatever, we'll say that. To then go in to sort of cut off the English Channel escape route, then that is possible. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. She's not going to be relevant, so just supplying makes sense. Okay, we knew that.
Yeah, that was my thinking.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think that's the right way to go about it. Her moving is not gonna. I mean, I guess the only way her moving is gonna be important is if Dracula does manage to get back onto the mainland. She might be able to catch him, but given she doesn't have horses, her movement's gonna be a little bit awkward. I really don't know which way this game's gonna go. This is definitely in the balance here. And that vampire lair early on actually could be potentially crucial here. That buys you an extra day. If Dracula escape, I would say my prediction at this point is if Dracula manages to get off the Britannica, I think we'll win the game. If for some reason Dracula stalls in Britannica a little bit too long and you catch, you're really well supplied. If you just get maybe 2 hunters on him with a planned ambush or something, yeah, I think Dracula's gonna be a goner. Your heart must have been pounding at this point.
Yeah, it would be very frustrating. Like, just because I had, especially because this is so similar to the Wormtail game where he kind of Drac got away when I thought I had him in Spain, and yeah, it was. I really didn't want a redux of that game, especially because I had beaten Topher in a pickup game once before, so I knew like that was he's like I already knew I could beat him. He's not like as much of a veteran as some of the other people in this, so I was like, it felt, you know, uh, and actually I could have beaten Wormtown the first game too. There were some errors I made. It felt like a a winnable game that could have ended differently. I definitely was worried about the same possibility in this situation, letting a kind of a winnable game slip away. So
Yeah, I like that move. I like that move a lot. Good. Yeah, you need
yeah, so I'm gonna have
good.
one hunter going into each port.
Yeah,
Although Van Helsing will be one behind the other two.
that's okay. But he went to go and do a violent. No, I think this is perfect. You chasing Dracula is useless here. Going to the English Channel and North Sea. So then Dracula's going to have to move into one of your hunters, or he's going to have to wolf form early. Yeah, this is really good for you. Really good move. That might clinch you the game by doing that. Nice. Yeah, and if Dracula doesn't realize this and gets like caught midway in like Manchester or something, oof, yeah. He's gonna be a goner. Especially with Rufus Smith, you don't need to kill Dracula in Britannica. You just have to do enough that sea movement is almost impossible for him.
So remind me, Rufus means when you go onto sea or you go between sea spaces, it's two.
Yeah, between sea spaces. Yeah, Dracula always takes 2 damage when he enters the sea, but then once Dracula moves in between sea spaces, then will take an additional damage. Normally takes 1, but from Rufus takes 2.
How much does he take again when he leaves sea to go to land?
Nothing.
Oh, nothing. Okay, very
Yeah,
good.
so it always sees what the destination is, and if it's a sea space, then it'll be 1 damage, or if it's 2, if it's the first sea space. So yeah, if you can get him to 3 health, so you can only move 1 sea space, you're in a really good position because, especially since you got 2 surprising returns, you can really control where he's going, and you can find out where he is very quickly. And also then he can't wolf form from the sea either, so that, yeah, it's just he's so limited for what he can do. So yeah, your objective is not necessarily to kill him here. If you do, that's just amazing. But as long as you just get him down to 3 health, especially since Feed is still stuck on the trail for a bit, yeah, you're in a really good spot. Oh, not wolf forming? Okay, right, that might be the nail in the coffin for Dracula. We'll have to see.
Yeah, so I'm going to get off in London and Edinburgh, and I'm fully thinking about um, I'm planning to do surprising return and hit um, uh, Manchester, and what is the one that's Swansea? Swansea.
Swansea, yeah, the one below Liverpool. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I'm planning to hit those with surprising return next turn, unless he wolf forms, in which case I might hit Plymouth or something. But
yeah, it's a real shame that Mina can't get into this fight. She's very well tooled up. I can't remember. Does Seward still have a chartered carriage?
I don't think so.
Because that's the only thing. If Dracula wolf forms to Plymouth, it means then Seward can't get there. But it might not matter because Gadami might be able to do enough damage on his own.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Right.
Doesn't. Has a forewarned though. So it might actually be worth here. Sack off your horse economy and try and get a 3-2 ticket. Because it means whatever happens, you can get a 2v1. Because you never know, Dracula might have managed to draw that second fog, and that might be enough to win. So.
It's true.
Because then what you could do, you could play Speedy Telegraph, and then Seward just, as soon as you find out where he's gone, Seward just moves in first, because then he can counter if there's a fog with forward, and then Gadami moves in afterwards. But again, that's okay. It's when you're constantly suddenly you suddenly had to learn it. You need to keep bad tickets, and you need to put all the good ones back into the pile. It's then suddenly if it's like, oh, I need to then reverse all that thinking. Sometimes train tickets are better than horses. If you had a renewed vigor here, it wouldn't be a problem. But since you don't have it, you're gonna you have to rely on the idea of moving 3 spaces. That's the only way. If Dracula doesn't move to Plymouth, then it doesn't matter. Well, actually, no. If he hides in Swansea, then so he can't get there anyway. But then you just wait for him to move out. You don't have to go charging into him. You've got time. But still, you can get a 3v2, a 3v1 if Van Helsing also moves into Swansea.
If he hides like the 2, I'm thinking at this point because I was just looking at the John on the Hard card. I was just double checking that the one-off event for all the allies is the same. I think it is.
It is. Yeah.
That's what I was checking just there, right? And I'm realizing if I do 2 of the surprising returns, if he doesn't wolf form, I'll be able to immediately know exactly where he is because there would only be 3 options.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's absolutely right.
I'm not going to replace Topher with an AI. That's probably the right decision.
Yeah, sometimes the menu just bugs out a little bit. You just gotta leave and then rejoin, and then hopefully it'll work.
Yeah, there've been times where I start something that I realize, I don't want to do that, and I hit the escape key, hoping it'll let me take back, whatever I started to do, and it does not. It just freezes me up. But logging out and logging back in typically fixes the issue.
Yeah, that's Dracula's only hope here. If it manages to wolf form.
Yeah, I think if it were me, I'd wolf form to Plymouth. He'd be down to 6 health, which is rough, but 1v1 versus Godalming.
You only take
7?
one damage for wolf form, yeah.
7.
But still, it doesn't matter because you got. That would still be a good fight for you because you got Planned Ambush and Lucy's Revenge.
Oh yeah.
So as long as you get the Heavily Host down on him, he'll be down to 3 health. You can maybe try and dodge a Fang attack and things. It'd still be pretty good for you.
Yep. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good.
Righty, so. Yeah. Yeah. Right, so Dracula's having to think what to do here. Not an easy choice. Okay, there's the wolf form. Oh.
Yeah, that was not what I expected.
No, I didn't expect that one either.
So now my whole plan to use double surprising return is
No, you didn't need
moot.
to. Yeah, you don't need it.
I don't need to use anything.
I wonder if that was a misclick or was just really scared. Well, Swansea looks really bad now because you've got Van Helsing sitting right there. And then Manchester, you're trapped. At least this way, you know, he's on the coast and could then escape.
Yeah, maybe he made an error earlier and went to Swansea and then Liverpool or something, hence the wolf form.
Okay, so as a wee thing, not playing Lucy's Revenge, I think is correct, because obviously Dracula escaping and you dying is very unlikely in this situation. I would still play Planned Ambush.
I agree with that.
Try to use Heavenly Host, because then you got a free supply before you have a next fight, right? So you can just supply up.
I'm hovering over chat because I'm thinking of telling him I made a mistake. I should have used a card there. I don't remember if I actually say that or not, but I realized that mistake at the time.
But it's okay, it works out. You've cancelled Mesmerize, you punched him, so it's fine. I mean, it might all work out the same, it's not. And if you get a really good item, you can throw away the horse, because the horse is not going to be consequential here. It's not going to be useful anymore. This is the end of the game. It's going to be, you know, if Dracula escapes out of this and manages to get to sea and onto the mainland, then you're in a really bad spot. Anyway, and if you kill Dracula, then you kill Dracula. So yeah, you could just throw away the horse, potentially. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Dracula didn't heal, that's the main thing. You decide not to be aggressive in this fight because you want to wait for Seward, that's okay.
Yep.
There's a chance that Seward doesn't get into this fight. Oh, I don't know, if he's got a 2-1, then maybe just use the rail ticket to get in. So yeah, I think Seward's guaranteed to get into this fight, so... I'm gonna heal. Okay. Fun fact, healing actually gives you no benefit there.
Why is that?
Because in combat, Dracula can only do even amount of damage.
Oh, right.
So if you go from an even number of health to an odd number, that's a benefit. But going from 9 to 10 gives you no benefit. So I would have just supplied. Even though you would have got a Dracula event, you might have got another item. Imagine you got a knife there. I don't know if that's possible based upon the event, but let's just imagine. Well, we can play hypotheticals. Or a crucifix or something. Then it means you play Plan Ambush, and literally Dracula can do nothing to you, because you can cancel anything he throws at you and do damage.
Okay, so he did go Swansea to Liverpool.
Yeah. Which makes sense to say why he wolf form, because that's even worse for him, because he can't get to Plymouth very easily. So yeah, Dracula moved there. I think Swansea would have definitely been a better move to land from Ireland, but that's okay. Oh wait, you would have got another rifle. That's fine. But I think it's fine. And then again, there was a risk there that you wouldn't have got Seward into that fight if you rolled slowly. So I think you should have just used the rail ticket. Just to guarantee it. It didn't matter because you got him there anyway, but you'd feel really bad now. Because I'm not saying you wouldn't have killed Dracula, but, you know, stranger things have happened in a 1v1 with Lucy's Revenge and Plan Ambush. Sometimes it can go against you. And I think for style points, you just use Lucky Find. just throw the kitchen sink at Dracula. But honestly, I think it's fine. He's on such low health. You've got two very well-equipped hunters. One of them has Planned Ambush.
Planned Ambush.
There's no way this can go wrong.
Yeah.
So really, really good move on your part. You know, spotting the English Channel move and not going to Irish Sea. I think you'd have been in a really bad spot. That's what won you the game. And Dracula did not react. If Dracula had reacted quicker and got into London and potentially fogged you or something, then there's a way that Dracula could have got out, but Dracula didn't punish you for that. So yeah, that was potentially the game-winning move, moving to English channel as you did. So that's very good. This is yeah, it's all a matter now of just how many rounds it takes. You're definitely killing Dracula here. I can't remember, what did you play with Seward? Gami played Punch, which makes sense.
Rifle.
Rifle, yeah, I think that makes sense just because he's got a knife as a backup, so you know you're not having to worry about weapons. But I think, yeah, just for style points, I would have played Lucky Fied as well, just to put the wind up him even more. Yeah, as soon as Dracula had gone Swansea Liverpool rather than Liverpool Swansea, yeah, he was in a really bad spot. So it makes sense why you'd wolf form to London there. Just gives you a chance. And you cancel the clause with the rifle. Very good.
Yep, that worked out well.
Just to add insult to injury.
Not that it matters, but. And that's pretty much it, because I can plant ambush to Heavenly Host.
Yep.
That'll do it.
Very good. Well played, GG.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep, so I'm now 1-1.
Nice, well played.
So I've learned things in both of these first two tournament games.
That's good.
Well, that's definitely improved my understanding of how renewed vigor works in the first game, and realized the utility of surprising return in this one, albeit not early enough for it to be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. So.
No, but as I said
and
before,
I've learned.
I'd say your timings of renewed vigor were correct. You knew that was the time you wanted to play it. It just had to be comboed with other things. The speed telegraph thing, as I said before, that's optional extra. I think it could have worked anyway, but yeah, just throwing out a surprising return to narrow it down, like to know for certain, right, it's Spain, right, let's just go for Saragossa because that's the most likely place. If you trap him in Barcelona, then it's like, okay, well, he's going to have to wolf form out or he's guaranteed to go to sea. And you're not having to then spend a second renewed vigor. Yeah. It was really good though. I mean, it all worked out well for you. I mean, that's the thing I've been saying in some of the other games. Like, you know, if I critique this with like a really fine tooth comb, I might find quite a few things. But if your opponent doesn't punish you for it, and obviously we're playing with players who maybe wouldn't notice, as a Dracula player or vice versa, your opponent might not realize some of the mistakes that you're making, so then doesn't punish you as much for it. Then I'd say overall though, this game was fairly well balanced. Got nice early mature early on. Had 5 points, but then you vampire layered it. And going to the UK, not a bad move.
Yeah, and I guess I kind of lucked out a little bit, and then none of the big mistakes really made a difference, even on the what is it called, the I something score, IDU score?
Oh, IDS, yeah, sure.
IDS, excuse me, IDS.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I've been stuck at the same. Drax's been stuck at the same influence the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah. So that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Well played. Is there anything else about the game you want to talk about or ask?
I don't think so.
Before we wrap it up.
Do you want to do the second game or hold off?
I'm definitely free to do it if you are.
Sure, sounds great. If you could give me like a couple minutes to just take a quick break, and then we can come back and do that one.
Yep. Yeah, I'd probably I was going to ask for the same actually. So yeah, we'll wrap up the video here. So I hope everyone's enjoyed watching. Thank you very again, Snuff, for coming onto the channel and for recording the game in the first place, and for being willing to you've been in the firing line here with me. But I think you handled yourself pretty well in this game. So yeah, very well played again. Well done for the win.
Appreciate it. See you in a few minutes.
Yeah, and everybody who's watching, thank you for watching. Feel free to leave your comments below if you've got anything to add. And again, just obviously we got to do it from the perspective of broader strategy and not there's lots of really technical stuff that we could have gone into, but we can save that for another day. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you again in the next one. So yeah, if you want to check out the channel, part 2 with Snuff is coming up very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.